Good evening. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2026, and we are here for the Hendrick Hudson Board of Education regular meeting. May we all please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May I ask for a motion to approve our agenda?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor? Carmen, do we have any audience comments on non-agenda items?
We do not.
Okay. Which brings us to our recognition of tonight.
Thank you, President Silverman. As you can tell, we are not in our normal location, so it is a pleasure to welcome you all this evening to the Hendrick Hudson Free Library, a space that has become a very important partner in celebrating the talents of our students. Each year, this venue hosts and provides us with the opportunity to showcase the incredible work you see before you on the creativity, the perspective, and the voice that our children have. The arts play a vital role in educating the whole child. The arts play a pivotal role in fostering creativity, critical thinking, and self-expression, skills that are essential not only in school, but also in life. And it's through art that our students learn to communicate in ways that go beyond words, developing confidence and a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. This work is made possible through the dedication and the passion of our teachers, many of whom have joined us this evening, who continually create opportunities for students to explore, take risks, and share their talents. It's also physically manifested here through our participation and ongoing partnership with the Hendrick Hudson Free Library. So thank you to the Hendrick Hudson Free Library for being our host, and we'll give you a round of applause. And we had such great attendance, about 175 people, that it broke the air conditioning, so we'll have to make sure that that gets fixed in the upcoming cycle. But again, thank you, Jill, to you and your staff for being our hosts. And their support from the library brings these experiences to life for our students in a real-world setting, much like a normal art show at any special venue. As we move into tonight's Board of Education meeting, it is fitting that we do so surrounded by the work of our students. Our students' creativity is a reminder of why we do the work of the Board of Education and why we have our schools in the first place, and reinforces our shared commitment to supporting the whole child in all that we do. To provide further information on this wonderful display of our students' artwork, I would like to ask our dedicated and caring educators who have joined us this evening, Blue Mountain Middle School art teachers Logan Kraus and Paul Giacchini, and our high school art teacher Kristen Dini, to come to this podium to share a few words on behalf of numerous colleagues who are here to join us this evening. So welcome.
Good evening, members of the school board, administrators, colleagues, families, and students. Thank you for being here tonight to celebrate our students. Art is not an extra, it's an essential. It teaches creativity, problem solving, and communication, all of which are critical skills for our students' future. In our district, our focus is on project-based learning, aligning naturally with the arts. When students create, they explore ideas, take risks, revise their work, and learn that the process is just as important as the final product. In the student art surrounding you tonight, you will see more than just paper, paint, clay, and ink. Look closely, and you will see creative problem solving. Every brushstroke or sculpture represents a series of decisions: how to fix a mistake, how to balance a composition, or how to bring a vision to life in 3 dimensions. You will see bold communication. You are seeing students find their voices, expressing complex emotions and ideas that words cannot capture. You will see vital connections. Each work of art serves as a bridge to other disciplines, from the geometry of a design to the chemistry of a ceramic glaze. These are not just art skills, they are lifelong skills that transcend the classroom and prepare our students to navigate a complex world with empathy and innovation.
Hi everybody. I'm Kristen Dini. I am one of the art teachers at the high school, and we're really excited to expand our interdisciplinary learning at the high school next year. We are going to be offering a new course called Perspectives, and this is a collaboration between art and social studies. In this class, the students are going to be exploring historical and contemporary issues. They will be doing this through creative and analytical lenses, and they will be building connections across subject areas and understanding multiple viewpoints through this course. This course is also part of our IAAP Arts Pathway, and it connects to our planned pilot. This will be helping our students create more opportunities to engage in meaningful cross-curricular work. Students are also going to have more chances to apply skills from different classes in authentic, real-world context, strengthening both their ability to learn and their ability to think across all disciplines. Thank you.
I'm Paul Giolachini. I'm one of the art teachers at the middle school. Oh, thank you. Our commitment to these lifelong skills begins well before high school. In our middle school, we have adapted the Project Lead the Way curriculum to utilize the agency model. This transformative approach turns the classroom into a real-world business setting where students aren't just pupils, they are creators and consultants. Within this model, our students are actively developing the 5 core skills that modern employers demand: teamwork, communication, organization, decision-making, and processing information. This agency model ensures that the creativity fostered in the art studio is directly translated into the professional competencies required for the 21st century workforce. Perspectives and our middle school initiatives are primary examples of how our district is working to create more meaningful, real-world learning experiences for students. Thank you for your continued support of the arts, and please enjoy the show. Thank you.
So thank you for taking the time to explain some of the context behind the wonderful displays of art we have here. And thank you to our students who have stayed to be a part of this event. And we really appreciate the support you give to our students and the support you nurture every day within our classroom. So thank you for being here as well. This is normally the time where we say if there's anybody who is coming for the recognition that doesn't want to stay and enjoy the festivities that are about to unfold, you're more than welcome to enjoy the rest of your evening, or you may stay, as it's always wonderful to have the participation of our community. But we also know you have a lot of homework to do as well, too.
Thank you, guys.
So joining us this evening as well in the audience, this Board of Education has a position on the board for a student ex officio member. This year we've had one board member who is unable to join us this evening, but we are looking to have 2 board members, student ex officio members next year, to help provide student perspective on the board, and also to expose students to real-world civic engagement. And we are joined by members of the high school who have sought to be candidates next year, both from the junior level, who we're anticipating will serve a 2-year term, and a senior to serve a 1-year term, so you can see the approach to having continuity on the board as well. And what I would like to do, I don't know if Dr. Scollins said that you would be doing this, but we'll just have them come up and say their names.
Sure.
So we'll go. What's that?
I did not.
Okay.
We are waiting 1 or 2 more members, but
Okay.
for now we do have a core group here.
Okay, so the next steps after they engage in this meeting as the first trial, no, they've already gone through a very selective process of submitting an application, and we have 6 members for consideration who will be placed on the ballot for their peers at the high school to vote. One a 2-year term for a junior and one a 1-year term for a senior. So what I'd like to do is we'll start in the front row, and after you come to the podium, say your name and your year, and that's all you need to do at this time.
Hi, I'm Carmen Iglesias, and I'm currently a sophomore, but next year I'm going to be a junior.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ethan Crook. I'm currently a sophomore at Hendrick Hudson.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Michael Philbin. I'm currently a junior at Hendrick Hudson High School.
Hi, I'm Avery, and I'm a junior. I'm his sophomore.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie Prado, and I am a sophomore.
Hello, my name is Colette Pazina, and I'm currently a sophomore.
Thank you. So first of all, thank you for staying with me and being flexible in announcing yourselves to the Board of Education in our community. And thank you for taking a risk to serve in this leadership position. You're serving not only your fellow students, but also your community, because we are here as a school district and as a Board of Education. We exist because of you. So your voice matters. And I also want to thank you from my little social studies teacher heart, because this fills that little heart, knowing that there is such a passion for civic engagement by our next generation of leaders. And I really appreciate you taking the risk, as I said before, in supporting your fellow students and representing them. So thank you again. And that concludes the formal and also ad-lib version of our student recognition version.
I want to say thank you to you guys for coming out, because this board feels very strongly about the student ex officio member, so much so that before it became a law, we were planning on putting it in place. And so it's exciting to see so many of you out there and being engaged, especially at, like, so many of you that are sophomores. Like, very exciting, and thank you for your leadership. And even if you do not win the position, I hope that you stay engaged, watch the meetings, see what's happening, and then have your representative be your voice, so that you can be the team behind them. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, guys.
So are you saying even if they are not nominated and selected by their colleagues, they can stay for the jokes?
No.
They can spare the jokes. They can spare the jokes. They can tell their colleague to bring things to the board. Just messing with you. Thanks.
So we hope you enjoy the process this evening.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so we have 2 things for presentations, and the first one is from BOCES. We have to do a vote on 2 items under BOCES for the board election and the administrative vote. Yep.
So just for some context for our Board of Education members and the public, we are a component district of Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES. They have a Board of Education that directs their BOCES as well, and this evening you are being asked to vote on 2 items: the adoption of our portion of the BOCES budget, and also on 1 candidate who to serve on that BOCES board. Our BOCES budget, which Greg is displaying on the screen, if you followed along from our line by line, is the 490 codes that appears in the line by line of our budget. It is a portion of the budget that receives a great deal of aid in different forms. So most expenditures in BOCES will receive some type of aid in return. That is what makes it advantageous. So BOCES stands for Board of Cooperative Educational Services. One of the main components that they do provide, BOCES was created to provide shared services to school districts that may not be able to afford or have access to various types of services that students require. So they, by law, are only allowed to offer certain types of services, and it has to be a shared service. So you can't just have BOCES offer a service. It's provided to districts, and then the districts receive state aid on it. It's very prescribed types of services that BOCES can offer. Greg, and on our agenda, you have the actual detailed budget. Many of the budget lines that you see in BOCES receive state aid depending upon what type of services. Jill, either 40% for administrative or 60% approximately for instructional.
50 and 60% usually.
And then in addition to that, BOCES is a not-for-profit organization based upon a school district's participation in BOCES services. If BOCES has any profit at the end of the year, that is distributed back to the schools based upon a participation rate that those schools have. So in essence, the more that a district participates, the more likely they are to receive substantial funds if BOCES operates at a profit. So a little bit of context, probably more than you wanted from me for this consideration.
So I have that one.
She's got one.
Here. So we have the 2 things. First, we do the candidate. Okay. So first, there is 1 vacancy for the PNW BOCES. And there is one person who is asking for to be nominated to be elected, and that is Richard Krebs. So we just have to vote for, and that would be the next page for that one from there. So can I ask for a motion to elect Richard Krebs for the vacancy of the PNW BOCES?
Motion?
Second?
All in favor? And the next one that we are, it's that budget that we just saw, we are looking to approve the 2026-2027 PNW BOCES Hendrick Hudson budget.
Motion to approve the budget?
Second?
All in favor? Thank you. Okay, also under our presentation, we have a presentation on our universal screening to review and recommend. Reviewing and recommendations.
So I will lead this presentation, but I'm going to encourage Ms. Joy to jump in at any time, as she was an integral part to this work in our curriculum committee. As we know, our mission is to ensure that each student is engaged, passionate, and achieves their maximum potential. And part of that is understanding where they are in their learning journey. So this year, we set out one of our action items through our curriculum committee was to take a look at our universal screening process as well as all of our assessments and really look at what are we doing, what are we offering, and how are we assessing students. So I'm just going to talk briefly about some requirements as well as the what here. So a universal screener is a short assessment given to all students to identify who may need that additional support as well as monitor progress over time. There is a requirement that we do this each year, and we do it 3 times a year to monitor student progress over time. So I have here on the screen just some bullets about what a universal screener should be used for and what it shouldn't be used for. So it should not be the only decision made in retention or grading or placement. It should not serve as the sole measure of student ability or performance, and it shouldn't replace other types of assessments. It should help us monitor student growth over time, and it should inform instructional planning and support our MTSS as well as are our programs effective. So why did we decide to take a look at that this year? Over the last few years, we've heard concerns about the current program that we have, the amount of time to administer, the way the data is presented to us, the type of platform that the universal screener is formatted in. It's very game-based to provide breaks for students. There are games within the program. It is not available K-12, and really it's limited to K-8. The parent reports leave a lot to be desired, and there was a lack of real, true understanding from our whole stakeholder community, parents, students, and really the implementation of the purpose of a universal screener. There was a lack of understanding and awareness of how this informs instruction. So our committee met, and this is the process that we went through in order to take a look at the universal screeners. Our curriculum committee reviewed our concerns. From that committee, we had a subcommittee which reviewed 2 widely used universal screening tools. Our subcommittee included stakeholders from all of our grade bands, parents, and administrators. We had teachers pilot both systems. Our teacher pilot group looked to review the data as well as the programs with our partners at Lyric. Our pilot program provided feedback. Then we used that feedback to go back to the one universal screener that we felt really strongly about, NWEA MAPS. Then we presented a recommendation to the curriculum committee, moving away from our current program, iReady, towards NWEA MAPS growth. And so now we are presenting that to the board and to the public. So one of the reasons, or variety of reasons why some of the feedback that we learned and gleaned through our pilot of NWEA MAPS is that it provides a consistent measure K-12, so we can use this throughout our whole system. We could get a picture of how a student is progressing from their time in kindergarten all the way to the time they are high schoolers. It supports the vertical alignment that we are looking to build within our system and to help inform our MTSS work. It speaks with some of our instructional programs like HMH Into Reading and some of the data platforms that our HMH Into Reading program has. It's also a more manageable testing platform. It's not game-based. It looks much more like the computer-based testing that the students take. So it is a very familiar looking screen. One of the third grade classes who piloted both programs said that they felt comfortable with it because it was a screen that they were used to. For example, when you're doing a reading assessment, the reading passage stays on the screen the whole time and the questions change so that the student isn't flipping back and forth between looking for the reading passage and then going to the next screen for the question. So that was some really positive feedback there. Talking about some next steps. One of the things that we are looking at, of course, is the cost of this program. Currently, in our iReady program, we also offer the personalized pathways. So in grades 1 through, or K through 8, we have the ability for students to access personalized worksheets or pathways through iReady to support their learning based on how they perform in iReady. So that is an area that, while it's not a part of the Universal Screener, it's something that is embedded within iReady. Our committee, the NWEA Maths Growth, all the programs, does not have, they have the option for different programs, but right now what we wanted to do is just focus on making sure our Universal Screener is tried and true as just a Universal Screener, not tied to a personalized pathway on a computer. We have a lot of other programs that support our math and ELA programs, so we wanted to focus solely on the Universal Screener and really making it an impactful experience for our students as well as teachers who use this data to inform instruction. So there is right now cost savings moving away from iReady towards NWEA Maths Growth. We're still looking at our professional development plan and what it would look like. I have heard from the teachers that it would be very helpful to have an overview of the NWEA maps just before the students take it, and then really in-depth training once we have student data that's meaningful to the teachers and not just a test site. We are looking at parent engagement and stakeholder involvement here and really creating a series of sessions to help parents understand our Universal Screener as well as what the parent reports look like and overall what our data looks like. I have listed here other considerations because while we are not looking to purchase an additional online program for a personalized pathway for students to supplement their work, that we are going to look at as a curriculum committee next year all of the resources we have across the district that help supplement our learning. For example, New York State has a program called First in Math, which supplements our math curriculum and creates opportunities for students to spend time in areas that they may need to grow in, as well as enrichment areas. So we have programs already within the district, so if we're moving away from iReady, we're gonna audit what we have before we make any decisions moving forward. So the next steps would really be to secure that contract through Lyric and move towards NWEA Maths Growth. But I'm happy to answer any questions about the process or any other questions about the program.
So I don't have a question. I just wanted to give a comment on NWEA. So I was happy that you mentioned that it does mimic the state test, including the tool. So for example, for math, it's the same calculator, the same highlighter tool, the same it's the exact same platform. And another piece that NWEA does after students take it, if you do the 3 benchmarks, it gives you a fairly accurate read of where the student should be a level 1, 2, 3, or 4 for that state test. And then it offers you the goals, and then you can actually write individual goals for students that they can work towards. Like you can sit down with them, and within the platform, it has a little spot that you can write the goal, each student's personal goal. Like you can pull them over, you can show them things, and write the goals to say, okay, right now in the fall is predicting you're a level 2. Here's how we can get you to a level 3. Here's the goals. Here's what you would need to do, and it gives you those standards that. So I think it's a really powerful tool, and it can make a difference to looking at each individual student as opposed to like the broad picture.
Yeah, that's the way the group felt, really looking at those standards and digging deeply into the data. That was a real big benefit to the program.
Anybody else have any
Lauren.
questions or comments? Oh, yeah.
You mentioned, does this go to 9th through 12th grade
Mhm.
also?
Yes, so we would be able to use it at the high school level to have a better
Do
understanding.
kids in the high school get, they don't get a type of
We
evaluation?
don't have a
right?
universal screener at the high school right now. Some students may take an iReady assessment, but it's not widely used, so this would be something that's implemented.
And it does do for the high school, like for math, like you can select like algebra, like you can select a course, and it also does science
Yes, exactly. It's used across.
and ELA. I mean, I thought that ELA is given, but yes, it also does science, which is huge.
Sorry, another question. So if you were, sorry, because I know the kids take different classes in the high school, so how does that work? Would you just give it to certain students, or like you wouldn't give it to the whole grade like you do?
So
I
the
already-
plan would be to definitely administer for ELA and math likely, the whole grade. Other states use this program. We have an ESSA requirement, a federal requirement to give a test that's where our students take our Regents exams in New York in all 4 content areas. Other states to satisfy the ESSA requirement, they use NWEA maps. So I anticipate New York State may be looking with changes to the Regents exams to create alternate pathways to satisfy our ESSA requirement. So this would be a natural fit if New York State does go down that route, that we'd be able to build this into our system. So it's not an additional test that we're offering.
And Lauren, like if, let's say you were sitting in a room, the teacher could assign a specific test to each individual, so it doesn't just have to be everyone's taking math 6 to 12. If you have a student who's taking a different math course, you can assign the test to that student
Oh,
even
yeah,
while they're
kinda
sitting
like-
in a classroom of other
It
students.
would be geared towards what they're taking?
Exactly,
Mhm.
yep.
That's great.
And I would say one of the other plus points is also administers in Spanish as well. So it's not, currently iReady doesn't do that for us, so that's another plus point.
Anybody else, any comments or questions? Thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you, Dr. Scollins.
Did you want to say anything else about
No,
it or no? Okay,
no, just thank you to Dr. Scollins. No, thank you to Dr. Scollins, the committee, and also the curriculum committee who helped vet, preview, and provide feedback before the decision was made and before it was brought to the Board of Education.
Thank you. So we are moving on to the consent agenda. Would anyone like to remove anything from the consent agenda?
Me.
Yes, what would you like to remove?
I have 2 items to remove from the consent agenda. The first is 7.02, general, the BOE building use for out of district. And the second is 7.04, fiscal, specifically the approval of the MOA between the Hendrick Hudson Central School District and the HHEA. And they would both be moved to
8.0.
section 8, so making it 8.02 and 8.03.
Second.
Does anybody have anything else they want to pull?
Okay.
Sorry.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
Can't see anything.
Sorry. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda minus 7.02 BOE building use agenda out of district and 7.04 the MOA between Hendrick Hudson School District and the HHEA?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second?
All in favor? Okay. moving us to the items removed. So before we get to those, we're gonna go to 8.01, which is our approval of donations, and we have 2 of those. The first one is a donation totaling $2,100 for the Barbara Katzenstein Scholarship Fund. The Office of Special Education has received donations in the amount of $2,100 to be utilized to pay for partial summer camp funding for students with significant handicapping conditions. Can I ask for a motion to approve the donation of $2,100?
Motion to approve the donation.
Second?
All in favor? Beautiful. And the next one is a donation to the Buchanan Verplank Elementary School for $160.79. The district has received a donation in the amount of $160.70. Up top, 79, sorry. From Ahold Delhaize USA, Inc., on behalf of Giant Food 2220 for the BV Elementary School. So I'd ask for a motion to approve this donation of $160.70.
Motion to approve the donation.
Second.
All in favor?
What will this be used for?
$160.
So
Just like, what is it?
we did some research on where this donation came from, and the best understanding that we have is we feel it came from the Stop and Shop receipts.
Okay.
So I guess it goes into the general fund. I don't believe there's any strings attached to it.
It's only if particular donation is specified.
Oh, so it could just be for anything that may be.
It'll just go into like a general revenue code for miscellaneous revenue.
This was we did spend some time trying to figure that one out. But thank you to both donors.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then we will look at our other removed items first. For 8.02 would be the BOE building use agenda out of district.
So I'm just sort of recusing myself from the vote because I'm the director of one of the organizations requesting field use.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, so can I ask for a motion to approve the BOE building use agenda out of district?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor? And then the second one is the item that was under 7.04, the MOA between Hendrick Hudson Central School District and the Hendrick Hudson Education Association. Oh, sorry, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything.
So, yes, so
I don't have that.
what you have before you as the MOA is the result of long, engaged, collaborative work with, I have words to say during my update, so I don't want to steal my own thunder if I'm allowed to bring the thunder. This is the work of months of collaborative negotiation on behalf of our students to continue to provide our students with the highest quality teaching and learning environment possible. And that goes to both supporting our teachers and also supporting students through the expertise that our teacher provides. So what you have before you is the collective work of those negotiations, and we would ask the board to consider adopting that. And it would run from July 1st of 2026 to June 30th of 2031.
Okay. So we are looking to put up this resolution. Resolve that the Board of Education of the Hendrick Hudson Central School District hereby approves and ratifies, so that is what we will be.
Can I ask for a roll call with this?
Yes, absolutely. So for this one, we are going to do a roll call and individually vote. So we will start down there with Miss Allison.
Yes.
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 So the resolution has been approved. Thank you so much. I know that you have a lot to say in your update, and I just wanted to say thank you to all parties involved because as we were talking, this was the first contract to be approved within the time frame in more than 20 years. So that is a huge, huge accomplishment, and it shows the partnership that is being created within this district. So I thank you to the hard work that has been going on from the cabinet here and with our HHEA leadership and team. So thank you for that.
Well said. Thank you.
Well, we're gonna share. Okay, so now we are moving on to our audience comments. Carmen, do we have anyone to talk for agenda items?
We do, Mr. James Rogolski.
Good evening, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's a beautiful night in, are you still in Montrose? Night in Montrose, New York. On behalf of the Hendrick Hudson Education Association members, first of all, my name is James Rogolski. I'm the president of the Hendrick Hudson Education Association. On behalf of the Hendrick Hudson Education, all right, I'll start over.
Not you, lost for words.
First time doing it, sorry. On behalf of the Hendrick Hudson Education Association members, I'd like to thank this Board of Education and specifically Superintendent Trombley for working with us to improve this school district. We live in tumultuous times, and our ability to work together is vitally important to the health of this community. And we look forward to continuing to provide the best education to our students so they may thrive in this crazy world with dignity and pride. On a personal note, I'd like to thank Mr. Trombley for his unwavering professionalism and his corny jokes. When we set forth to negotiate this contract, it became evident immediately that both sides wanted the same thing: to respect the teacher's hard work and dedication, and to problem solve to improve instruction and the student experience. We accomplished that. I must express my gratitude to the man, I wrote next to me, you gotta stand next to me. Next to me, this is the 2019 Jeopardy Teacher Tournament champion, HHEA Chief Negotiator, Doctor of Physics, and genuinely nice guy, Francois Barker. Without his diligence, his sagacity, his wit, and most importantly, his friendship, this would not have been possible. Behind me is the ferociously intense and indefatigable Logan Krause, and at home is the savvy special education teacher, Amy Trezza. Those two ladies were on our in-team in negotiations, and without their savvy, without their expertise, without them keeping us in line, it wouldn't have happened either. And of course, I must thank my beautiful wife. She's back there, and she's also one of the best. I had to write one of the best, but she is the best English teacher I've ever known. She is a teacher in the district. Her patience, her support, and her love buoyed me. Okay, finally, I've got at least another year as president, and I look forward to working with all of you to secure the future for Hendrick Hudson. Together, we will continue to demand what is fair from our state and federal representatives to stabilize this ship after the closing of Indian Point. This is a beautiful community with excellent schools, and it needs to stay that way. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we get to hear from you for a superintendent's update.
Well, it's always difficult to follow Mr. Rogolski, so I will take a pause and focus on students here. So I see our potential student ex officio members diligently paying attention, and that means the world to me, and I know to this board up here, because it shows us how serious you're taking this. In the event you're looking for things to prepare for this possible role, you see the board performing in a particular way, and you notice them offering motions, seconding those motions. That is a framework on how a Board of Education made up of different people who can come from different mindsets, different perspectives, can reach consensus, and that everybody is heard. It's a cornerstone of a lot of the implementation of our democratic practices in this country, and that's called Robert's Rules of Order. You can find primers or brief updates on that online if you would like to follow along for the framework,
Or in my folder.
or in President Silverman's folder, you can follow along and familiarize yourself with that process should you be a member. It will benefit you in that role, but also in most boards or committees or organizations that you join. They tend to use that as the backbone of how they interact. So thank you, Board, for allowing me to do a little bird walk on that, but I thought it was important. As Mr. Rogulski just said, this evening the Board of Education took action to adopt a new 5-year agreement with the Hendrick Hudson Education Association. I would like to begin my remarks by thanking Mr. Jim Rogulski, who, as we know, just spoke earlier this evening, and the entire HHEA negotiations team for their professionalism, collaboration, and commitment throughout this process. And it's often said that when negotiations are done well, no one walks away with everything that they want. However, what the HHEA demonstrated, and what I believe we achieved together, is that when both sides are grounded in a shared purpose, those negotiations can result in outcomes that truly serve everyone. In this case, as Mr. Rogulski, and we did not coordinate our remarks. In this case, the shared purpose that we had entering into these negotiations with the contract terms that you have voted on this evening, the purpose was clear. What is best for our students? You'll often hear me say, we make decisions in what's the best interest of students. That does not mean we ignore what is best for adults, because oftentimes our adults are supporting our students. For the first time in recent memory, as President Silverman said, and we checked with the experts from the HHEA, for the first time in recent memory, the agreement was reached before the current contract expired, and that is significant. It reflects a process that was thoughtful, respectful, and consistently focused on what is doing right for the children of Hendrick Hudson. The contract provides long-term stability for the district through a 5-year term, while also making meaningful investments in our teachers and, most importantly, our students. It includes fair and reasonable increases in compensation, recognizing the important work that our teachers do each day. At the same time, it reflects a shared responsibility through increased employee contributions toward health insurance, helping the district manage long-term financial obligations. Most importantly, this contract creates more opportunities for students. It increases student contact time with our outstanding educators, extending the instructional day, allowing for additional support such as extra help, intervention services, and collaboration around student needs. It provides greater flexibility for the district to schedule time in many ways that directly benefit students, including professional learning, preparation, and support systems like multi-tiered systems of support. Additionally, the contract enhances professional growth for our professional educators, ensuring that our teachers continue to develop their skills and continue to bring the highest quality instruction into our classroom. And again, no party gets everything they want in negotiations. That is the nature of the process. What matters here is the willingness to find common ground, and that is what guided this process. I've been part of negotiations in the past, and I'm sure I will be part of them in the near future, where that shared focus was not clearly defined. In those instances, the process becomes more difficult and outcomes are harder to achieve. Let me be very clear. When negotiations remain centered on what is best for students, this district will always approach that process with a willingness to find solutions. That was demonstrated in this agreement. When that focus is present, progress is possible. When it is not, the work becomes significantly more challenging. What made this agreement successful was a consistent commitment to both sides to keep our students at the center of every decision. Through this contract, our teachers have once again demonstrated their commitment to our students by providing more time, more support, and more access to the talent and dedicated our teachers bring to our classrooms day in and day out. I'm thankful for the members of the HHEA for their partnership in the work. I'm extremely grateful to the members of our cabinet on the negotiations team and to this Board of Education and the community for their support of this. And at the end of the day, the reason we are here, the reason we do this work is for our students. When we remain grounded in that purpose, we put ourselves in the best position to move our district forward. So thank you again. This week, we celebrate two very important recognition days surrounding two very important groups involved in our educational community. It is Bus Driver and Transportation Worker Appreciation Day tomorrow, and it is also Administrative Professional Recognition Day tomorrow. So make sure you thank your bus drivers, anybody who works in the transportation office, and make sure you thank anybody, one of our administrative professional colleagues. I would like to publicly thank my boss and the person who keeps me in line, Ms. Carmen Contra, District Clerk. Without Carmen's guidance, I would not only be late for every meeting, I would have no idea what I was getting myself into, and she even reminds me to eat. So, but not on budget, not on day. So Carmen dedicates hours of her life to this district, and it is one of the reasons why this district is a wonderful place to work in. And so for Carmen, you and your colleagues who do similar tasks for many of our professionals across the district, thank you for your professionalism as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Carmen.
Now on to the boring stuff. No, I'm kidding. We will continue to offer opportunities to discuss the adopted budget with community budget forums coming up. Our website and the district's weekly newsletter provides details on these forums, including how to attend virtual meetings. Just as a reminder, we have in-person community budget forums coming up on May 6th, 2026 from 5 to 6 p.m. at the Hendrick Hudson High School AP Conference Room. And then on May 18th, in person again from 5 to 6 in Veterans Riverview Park. If it rains and nobody wants to stay out there, we can shift to virtual. We do have virtual meetings coming up on April 24th from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. and on May 13th from 6 to 7 p.m. On a related note, recently Premier Athletic Club hosted me for 2 community forums. They did not make me work out during those. They just let me have a nice little table. I had a chance to interact with community members and discuss our district and discuss our budget. But I also witnessed a number of wonderful programs and even saw some of our students engaging in some healthy activities and programs, and I want to extend my gratitude to Premier for being such gracious hosts. We held our first Parent University session yesterday, April 20th. It was well attended by 2 individuals, including my 3 individuals, including myself. I did not record it, but I will sit at my desk and record it for posterity and for public consumption at a time coming up. There are remaining sessions, all in the high school library, and they are as follows: May 4th from 5 to 6, May 21st from 4:45 to 5:45, and June 8th from 5 to 6 p.m. Just as a reminder, each of these sessions of our Parent University are focused on supporting our students through goal setting, relationship building, digital responsibility, and building strong habits, as well as supporting a effective home-school family partnership in support of our students. And we look forward to continuing to engage our families in this work. And it's centered around Stephen Covey's work on the 7 habits for highly effective teams. We have an active thought exchange focused on the student perspective of what an open campus might look like. This was sent to all students in grades 9 through 12 on April 9th and will run until April 24th. As of this weekend, we have 301 responses recorded, so we know that there are more students than that, so maybe we can get the word out. We want to hear student voice on what this might look like. And once that thought exchange ends, I will analyze and share the results in a more detailed update. And it wouldn't be an update without talking about one of the most important and significant events we have this year, our centennial. To help tell that story of the last 100 years of Hendrick Hudson, the Centennial Committee is seeking alumni memorabilia to feature in our centennial celebration taking place on Friday, May 15th and Saturday, May 16th. That celebration will include a heritage display showcasing district artifacts, alumni mementos from throughout the school's history. So we're going to look for items such as yearbooks, photos, programs, clothing, articles, newspaper articles, and any other treasures that people have from their years at Hendrick Hudson High School. All contributions will be cataloged and archived at the high school and returned in the same, if not better shape when we're done. To participate, please contact Beth Gruber, which would be, her email address is beth.gruber@henhudschools.org to arrange a donation, or drop items off at the district office labeled Centennial. Attention to Beth Gruber or Dr. Scollins. Her office is going to serve dual purposes until the centennial. And we kindly ask that all of these items are submitted by May 1st. That is all for my update. There is one question regarding that requires follow-up from our last Board of Education meeting. A question was posed regarding the median assessed home values in the district, and based upon information that we received, thank you to Ms. Figuerella for looking into this, from the Town of Cortland Assessor's Office, the median home value within our district is $652,119, and this is based on 2025 data. I will now, we're in a new configuration here, I will now turn over to Mr. Chris Moreno, our Acting Director for PPS, for his update.
Thank you. So I'll be brief. We have several updates. Our Sailor team has been working on several school-based projects in high school, supporting our show for Pippin and creating and compiling the programs for that show. In addition, they're working with Mrs. Alves on a larger scale project, sorting, assembling badges by class, and performing quality control on them. We also have an upcoming unified basketball game on April 29th. The Director of Guidance, Dr. Aaron Kleiman, is asking me to share that there is a career fair coming up on April 24th. Senior College Commitment Day is set for May 1st, and our guidance team has coordinated 8th grade visits to the Hendrick Hudson High School for April 30th and May 1st. And then for anybody interested, our May SEPTA meeting will focus on secondary mental health clinicians and supports at middle school and high school.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. I will now ask Ms. Figuerella, Assistant to the Superintendent for Financial Continuity and Controls, to provide her update.
Okay, so just an update on our bus energy electrification of our buses. Polara is our energy company, and we are working with them to put together our bus electrification plan. At this time, we're waiting for Polara to share their complete report on that, and I guess their time estimate on that right now is June. As our funding becomes available, so for instance, our proposition that's on the ballot for permission to borrow funds, that will allow us to order replacement buses, and then we have to obtain the charging stations or they cannot deliver the buses. So NYSERDA provides us with approval process to move forward so we can have the chargers installed. We are currently going through a two-step application process for those chargers to be installed. Step 1 of the process has been completed. Step 2 is in motion. We cannot accept delivery of those buses, which we only have 2 on order right now, until the chargers are installed, and we cannot accept the installation of the chargers until the buses are ready for delivery. So it's kind of like a catch-22 situation. The buses are ready for delivery, so we are right on target with the entire process for the delivery of the first 2 buses as we coordinate for the installation of the 2 chargers. So it's a long process, and I guess we just have to trust that process right now, and we're hopefully going to hear more as we get closer to June.
Joe, before you go on, I'm sorry to interrupt. We do plan on having a full presentation on the district's status in the transition to EV vehicles on June 3rd. So mark your calendars if you want to hear that. You can come to our
At
board.
that board meeting, we invited Polara to come and speak, and hopefully they'll be able to give us a full report on their plan. Next, I have up on the agenda budget book. So we've handed out a budget book that was preliminary at the line-by-line presentation on March 21st. Some of those parameters for the revenues, as far as the tax levy and so forth have changed, so those will be updated. We are currently not handing out a new book because we're waiting for comparative data to be available. We usually populate that book with data that covers the 18 component districts of our BOCES, Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES, so you can look at how their data compares to our district, and we're waiting for that. They plan on dispersing it towards the end of this week, so we'll have those copies prepared. Last on the list is our bus cameras. So Sion is conducting a fleet audit on all of our bus cameras. The current system only shows an indicator light if the cameras are on or off. We're going to be installing what they call, and it's a free install by the company because it doesn't currently do this, but it's called Evidence Manager, and it's a new feature. It will allow us to be able to see if the cameras are actually in working order without pulling them in to have to do a fleet audit. And again, we're arranging for that to happen now. So that's my update.
Thank you, Ms. Figueroa. I do want to return back to Dr. Scollins, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction and Professional Learning, for a few other brief updates.
Just a couple of updates. Today at the high school, the League of Women Voters from Westchester was on site running some, supporting our social studies classes in 11th and 12th grade, helping students understand the process and helping them register to vote should they wish to vote. Last night, I had the opportunity to attend the Town of Cortland board meeting to support our Youth Advisory Council. 4 of our high school students, Maybell, Jacob, Noah, and Ella, presented about their project that they've been working on with the Town of Cortland, where they have been working with Dr. Kleinman as well as several members of the town board to come up with a project. There were 2 high school groups. Our Croton's high school group is creating an opportunity for seniors and high school students to have lunch together on May 11th and 12th, or evening, I'm sorry, it's a dinner time, May 11th and 12th. And our students from Hendrick Hudson have been coordinating veteran interviews. These interviews have been recorded and will be submitted to the Library of Congress as well as live on the Town of Cortland's website, so that's an exciting opportunity for our students to be involved. They did a beautiful job presenting last night. It was very emotional. They even had veterans join them to be a part of the celebration, so it was very exciting. My last update is I told the McConvilles I would shout them out. I was working with Ms. McConville's class last week to record a lesson, which is a terrible thing to have to do. But the 5th grade class did an incredible job in helping me work towards recertifying as a national board teacher. So for 20 minutes, they listened to me talk about leadership, and we did a little blurb about Malala and what makes her a leader. So it was great. They did an amazing job and walked away with some candy at the end.
Thank you, Dr. Scollins. Two points on your update. First, I'm going to put you on the spot. Were there any, so you said the Town of Cortland, there's other school districts who are in the Town of Cortland. Were there any other school leaders supporting their students at that
event? It was me, and I was in charge of pressing the button to move our presentation forward. That was my job last night. I was Greg. I was in charge of moving the presentation along.
So thank you for supporting our students in that town-wide event. And then I don't think you're giving enough credence to that national board certification. I believe less than 1% of all teachers in the nation qualify and earn that qualification of national board certified teachers. So Dr. Scollins, thank you for demonstrating for our students and our staff that you serve to continue to be a lifelong learner, and thank you for representing Hendrick Hudson so well. So congratulations. We'll go to my right and have Ms. Vinitha Joy provide her update from the perspective of the Executive Director of Technology and Innovation.
All right, thank you. So I'll start with, we joined a Model Schools program almost 3 years ago. So this is our 4th year for presenting at the Model Schools program. And you heard a little while ago Paul Giovacchini and Logan Cross talking about the agency framework, turning classroom into companies. Their topic was selected to be presented at the Tech Expo on May 7th and 8th at the, it's no longer Croton, it's Winrose. So that's where the Tech Expo is going to be for 2 days. And we do have several of our teachers attending the Tech Expo this year. The second is this is our 5th year hiring 4 interns during the summer to work with the tech group. So we just finished hiring 4 of our high school interns for this summer. They will be hired through the BOCES program. So it's a great program to go through that. I do have actually a success story in the BOCES program from my previous districts where we did hire an intern and they did come back and work at BOCES as a level 1 engineer. So hopefully one of our students in the future would have a stepping stone to a tech program. And these 4 people do go through 2 resumes and 2 recommendation letters, and they do meet with me on an interview, so I do try to make it as formal as possible for the students, and it's really nice to talk to them because some of them are actually having an interview for their first time in their lives, so it's really nice. You probably, if you are at FTL, we did use the parent square to automate the attendance letters for the first time. At FGL High School and Middle School, we did move to that last year. FGL hadn't sent out any letters, so I just want to warn you, if you are getting letters, it's because we are sending out the tardy and absence letters for this year, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 threshold. Next year, we will be automating this through Furnace Wicks and BB, and also adding in an early dismissal letter as well if your child is being picked up early. The last thing is computer-based testing. So ELA computer-based testing was completed at the middle school and FGL. Thank my team for supporting that, and math test is starting tomorrow at the middle school.
Thank you, Ms. Joy. And believe it or not, I did make a mistake, and I don't want to move on to Dr. Garcia's update until I correct
I'm not
that.
offended at all.
There's no need to. I said 1% of all teachers nationally. It is 3 to 4%, but still very impressive, as only 141,000 teachers across the nation, according to the National Board's website. So now, without further ado, Dr. Garcia will provide his update on human resource and leadership development.
Very quickly, just want to congratulate Melissa Goliot-Herring. She is a teacher on leave, actually, special education teacher at the high school. Tonight she was appointed as the assistant director of PPS 6 through 12, which will begin officially on July 1. This year she's been serving in the capacity as the interim assistant director of PPS. What I kind of use as a measure of healthy school districts is ways the district cultivates leadership from within. So she's just an example of that. I know Mr. Moreno was an example of that. He was a teacher once here, and we just want to continue to seek leadership and the capacity of teachers and also other administrators to rise up into other higher level leadership positions. So congratulations to her.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Congratulations to And so that concludes the cabinet update. I want to thank our cabinet members for providing a perspective on the myriad of work that is occurring throughout the district. And as in tradition, I will tell my children, who must be 2 of the 7 who are watching right now, streaming, to go to bed and make sure we have, no, I have two children watching, but 7 people streaming on the Board of Education network. Stephanie, that was a joke, I'm sure. So I will turn it back over to Ms. Silverman.
Thank you. So we are looking at our committee report. So I am going to start on this side since I started over there for the vote. Erica, do you have any updates from any committees since our last meeting? Lauren?
I had safety last week and PTA for elementary school. So I'm going to read a few of their updates. Okay, so let's see. Beyond the Bell signups are happening for the last session of the year, which is crazy. They had a lot of things. June 13th is going to be Sports Fest at the school for K through 5. Sorry, not at FGL, at the high school, I believe. They're going to have the book fair at the end of May with a family event on Friday, May 27th with a movie and game night. Yearbooks are going to go out on June 18th. They're going to have a meet and greet for parents for 3rd grade. There's a 2nd grade folk dance coming up. Yeah, and I think that was about, oh, and it's Spirit Week for the kids in elementary school right now. And tomorrow is just like a professional day, ending in pajama day on Friday. Best day.
If you could just come back, I forgot. We have the biggest news ever, after talking about it for 9 months or more, that we actually successfully retrieved the copper box. I think it's is it copper?
Pure copper.
A pure copper box from the time capsule from 1926. It is successfully at the district office for our time capsule celebration of students on May 1st. we're gonna adopt the students, and we're going to find a way to, display this and to the whole community, but apparently, it all is intact. And the mice and critters and rain all stayed out of the box for 100 years, which is amazing.
Well, until we open it on Mike's desk.
The mice have been relocated and have a nice little corner in my office
Okay.
with the woodpecker.
So that was successful, and I just wanted to thank Anthony Merlini for getting that done. We've been very nervous about it, to the point where we've actually had conversations of how would we recreate what's in the box if we can't access it. But we did, so great job there. Because that's our big kickoff of our centennial, which is May 1st, and then the May 15th and 16th is when we have the film premiere, and we will have a schedule for that very soon, and then the centennial dinner. But even more importantly, we're gonna sell 100th birthday lawn signs. The committee decided to sell them. They're gonna be $20 each, and there should be links for that soon. We're hoping to decorate the town with Happy Birthday Hen Hud. I don't know how I forgot, that was my birthday.
And we need more memorabilia.
We do,
Like
I know
you
Mike
said.
mentioned that.
Yes, so if you're watching.
I think Lauren, we were all in the same boat, so.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we had a meeting since then, but I know I went to the last SEPTA meeting where we had a presentation for placement for students like that need to go to like assisted for jobs or living. The next meeting will be May 13th. And then there's also for Blue Mountain a fundraiser where they're selling those big head cutouts that you can put on a stick so your children, so that's running, I believe, until May 1st. And it's not just limited to if you are a parent to the middle school, but if anyone has children who play sports or any concerts or anything and you wanna, let your children know you're there, you can buy one of those. I believe it's 1 for 20, 2 for 30 kind of deal. And then we have facilities coming up on Monday, so that will be at our next board meeting.
Oh, can I make a?
Sure.
And I can't remember, we had the high school PTA meeting, I can't remember if that was after our last.
I don't remember anymore.
But they are looking for people to nominate, come forward if they're interested in corresponding secretary as a position that they're looking to fill. So if anyone listening is interested,
And I believe,
send us your information.
I believe Blue Mountain is also looking for members for their, to be nominated for their executive board.
Yes.
That's a good role.
Any committee updates down here?
I don't have a committee update, but I just wanted to make a shout out, I guess, to the cast and crew and all the teachers that were in the pit orchestra for Pippin this last weekend. It was my daughter's in 9th grade and she was in it, and so it was my first time really sort of invested in the whole process, and it is very impressive and it blew me away, the dedication of the cast, the crew, the director, the choreographer, the kids that ran the lights, the 5 of our music teachers in the pit orchestra, which was like a professional accompaniment for the show. They did a very serious show that had a lot of serious themes, some mature themes, and it was just really well done, and I went all 3 nights. I don't know that I had a choice, but I'm glad that I did.
You did it.
And it was one of those moments I looked around and just felt so proud to be part of this community, and that's what the arts brings. It brings all these people together, and it's so important for us to keep supporting it, and it was just a wonderful experience. So that's my update.
I don't have anything.
I have 2. The PTA Advocacy Committee is hosting the Candidate Forum. That is April 29th, next week, from 7 to 9 p.m. here. So you can hear the candidates for the BOE trustee positions. That's next week. And then the Blue Mountain Middle School, speaking of musicals, is doing April 24th and 25th Willy Wonka Jr. So if you want to see these kids on their way up to the high school musical, stop into Blue Mountain and see what they're doing. Tickets are $5, and it will be in the auditorium at Blue Mountain.
And the tickets are at the door.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we'll talk about policy next.
Yes.
That's it.
And so at this time, we have another opportunity for anybody who, unless you're a student ex officio interested member of the audience, where I would excuse the cabinet. Thank you for your service and dedication, and we can use this as an opportunity. Anybody else in the audience who needs to excuse themselves, this would be a great time to do so. Enjoy the evening.
Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Not easy. Yeah. Yeah. I know they're not doing that anymore.
They're not great. I never took these.
Oh, Al's getting tired.
I was like, what was that? Just a few more minutes. We're almost there.
We are looking to our board new business and discussion, and we have an item that we will be putting up for approval, and that is a resolution to approve a letter in support of the Lower Hudson Education Coalition petition to the Department of Public Service.
Just for some context as they pull it up, the Lower Hudson Education Coalition is an advocacy arm of stakeholders who support school districts. It's made up of teachers, administrators, superintendents, parents, board members, community members, anyone who wants to advocate for school districts. And they have submitted a petition to the New York State Public Service Commission asking for a pause in the timeline to fully examine the electric utility readiness to support the electrification of our bus fleet. It is late, yes. That means I've spoken too much. So in general terms, asking for a pause to fully study. I think one school district who's smaller than us took an account of their readiness, and they would have needed to have the same amount of power to power their buses to complete their runs, including field trips and things such as that JFK Airport used on to power itself. So there's some things that are concerning to us, as we've expressed at this table before. We will continue to move forward with plans to make sure that we meet their current regulations, but advocacy groups such as this are the way that we let legislators hear us, especially when we multiply by that. So this letter of support would be signed by myself, if approved, and President Silverman on behalf of the board, that would be in support of that petition that the Lower Hudson Education Coalition did file with the New York State Public Service Commission.
Okay. Yes, and this is something that I know I spoke to when we went to that legislative moment. All the school districts feel the same way, that we want to be environmentally friendly and do more for the environment, improving air quality, but we just need a few more supports and a little more research, a little more funding, a little more preparing for it. So this letter would be for that. So can I ask for a motion to approve that we would, in support of sending this letter to the Lower Hudson Education Coalition?
Motion in support to send the letter in support of.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Amelia and I would need to sign that. Thank you. Thank you to the board for that.
Okay, and it's our favorite time of night. Second to your update.
Point of privilege. Unless any board member wants to provide context to our prospective student ex officio, the Board of Education has a few main taskings that it's charged with. It's hire, evaluate, and hopefully retain a superintendent. It's to have general fiduciary responsibilities over the district It's to have general oversight over the district. It's to adopt a budget, and it's to create policy. So what you are about to see is the board doing the work of the board to create that policy, which at every time, if a parent, a student, a community member comes to me and says, why does the school district do this, or I have this problem, or I have this concern, I'd like to see this happen, the first place that I go, and I encourage all of my administrative team to go, is to policy. Because if it's not there, it's an anomaly, number one. But number two, it's something that we would have to dive into to see what it was best there, because policy directs us. It is the most fair and appropriate way, because it is the elected officials from the community helping to structure the way the schools they would like to see run within their community. So.
Point of privilege. So 4 years ago, when I was first elected to the school board, we realized that our policy book was quite outdated. And what that means is a lot of the policies were not up to date. They weren't following what was recommended by the New York State School Board Association or New York State Education, and we were way behind. So this board, this is our 4th year in the process of this, has basically updated or plans to update every single policy in the policy book, update, retire, revise, and we have added a multitude of new policy because there were gaps and things that were missing for the school district. So this has been we actually have the last two, 7,000, 8,000 series.
6 and 7.
We have 6 and 7. It goes to 9. So we have 2 more policy sets to go through. But I think we've all learned so much in this process, and policy is really how we, like Mr. Trombley said, that's the major function of the school board. So for a student, right, to be involved in this in any capacity, whether you are sitting up here next year or not, the policy, to write a policy, and Mr. Trombley sort of mentioned this a little bit, anyone in the community can come to the school board or the superintendent and recommend a policy review or a policy. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like as a student, you can do that. Your parents can do that, but that's how the policy itself is written. So that's how you have a voice, and how we act upon that voice. So here we go. You'll see it in action now.
And that's why I say this is personally for me one of my favorite parts, because it is a way to really get to know the district and knowing and being active in that part. And this first policy that we're about to read is what you guys are here for. And we had just put this into place a year ago, and we are already looking to revise it, which is, again, part of that process of just because we just wrote it doesn't mean that it doesn't already need to be revised again and again. So we are looking at the first reading of revision of policy 2245, ex officio student member of the board. The Board of Education believes that it is important.
Motion to waive the reading.
Second.
All in favor?
So do you guys know, we're waiving the reading, otherwise you'd have to read the whole thing. But you can go to the agenda and you can read it yourself.
So the whole thing is
Right,
this.
but otherwise we're gonna be here till 11, so that's what just happened.
And then what we will do after is give you a little update as to, we'll give you like the synopsis of it.
TLDR.
Yeah, like what did we change and why did we bring this to the table?
And just so you could see when it is presented, the black writing is what was there. Anything that's crossed out, we will be removing, and what's in red is what we would like to amend for this this version of the policy.
So this year, we had, the first year, we followed basically what the recommendation from the New York State School Board Association and the state law kind of told us we had to do to see how that went. And it went pretty well, but I think we realized that we really would like more student representation. So with that, what this is summarizing is that the junior ex officio student member will serve a 2-year term, and then the senior will serve, it's gonna end up being a 2-year term, but right now it says a 1-year term. It's gonna end up being a 2-year term, but the junior will serve a 2-year term and the sophomore will serve a 2-year term, but it's the junior.
It's for
Well, it's the sophomore going into junior year. Unfortunately, whoever is the junior going into the senior, it will be just the singular term, because that's all you're gonna be in high school for. But the goal is that our junior will be there for junior year. This way you can kind of almost shadow this senior and get to see everything that's going on and then take the lead, and then you be kind of the mentor to the other one. And this is something, again, that we had, we felt really passionate about, and we had started to research, and then the law was thrown in that you have to do this now. So we did, to be in compliance, but it wasn't the process necessarily that we felt passionate about. And this is leading us more to it of having, like Erica said, having more student voice within and having students be fully engaged. And, you know, our plan is that this is where it's going to be amended for this year, and hopefully in future years, as you guys are part of this process, providing feedback and potentially making this into something bigger than this as well, with having teams behind you, so that this way you can hear from all the different schools and everything. But this was changing it from the 1-year term to a 2-year term.
Does the board think having 2 students is the correct?
Well, I was just gonna say, this is what we actually saw when we were in Albany last year, was the other boards that were doing it, they had 2 students. Some of them had 1 from each building, so there was multiple levels of board members that were on, and then they would kind of like, one person would leave and then the other person would step up and then they would get someone else. So there was like this overlap of sort of involvement and training to see how the board worked, which was great, because at that board meeting, we all left like, wow, these kids were amazing.
Impressive.
Because they were like super professional, but they were like
responsibility. Like
yes,
one of them couldn't go, and the other one.
That's why I think it's important.
That was like a really
one. Because we found out this year how difficult it is for one student to be at every board meeting. That was a huge responsibility, obviously. So, because you guys have so many other things going on in your lives, you can't be at every single meeting every time. But if you're communicating with each other, and we have a little bit of a team, I think it's gonna make it a lot easier for us to be able to communicate with you guys and for you guys to communicate with us. So, I like the two-person team. I'm just wondering if 2 is within the right number.
What are you thinking? You thinking more?
She already wants more.
So
I
want a whole
I
pod.
want a
Like I want like a
student.
club that goes like that. This feeds back to because that was like the one that we saw in. I always butcher their names. Schenectady. Okay. When we saw, when we saw that one, that's how it was. That it was. You know, the 2 that would be the ones who attended the meetings and sat at the table, but then there was their fellows in the crowd, and then there was there was like a club, there was called an advisory, and they actually went to the different schools, because, you know, we have our 3 elementary schools, they were a voice, and the middle school, and they were a voice for them, like they would actually go there and get feedback from those students and bring that to the board. And the relationship between those students and their board president, board members, and the superintendent, it was just so refreshing to see like a student talking to the superintendent like they were working together, like it was, they really knew each other, and that was something that we felt passionate about bringing to here. So if 2 is not the right number, maybe we start with the 2 now, and that could be something that we are further discussing, like how can we not lose this engagement that we are witnessing right here, right now, which is
I think it's also
phenomenal.
important. It's really important to, student engagement is like the most, one of, like, I'm like most passionate about student engagement, hearing from the students, making sure the students feel heard. So however we can do to improve that, from our perspective.
Yeah.
If we want to start with 2, we can do that.
And again, for first readings, there's always a second reading that has to be done, so it gives everyone time to offer input if you want to on, hey, I'd like to talk about this policy, I think there should be more, give the board feedback, and then we can make any changes that we discuss here based on feedback. So,
Allison, you had?
I was just about to say the same thing, that we could start with 2, since we have this planned out, and let our new ex officio board members help revise the next version of this policy. Whether it means including more students, creating an advisory board. This is an awesome way for you guys to not just learn about policy, but also influence it with your ideas and your input. And then if we could get more, like Erica said, more members if we decide to add more ex officio members, or if we decide to build an advisory panel like you guys learned about. This could be your job for next year, whoever is sitting with us. You guys can help us formulate the next version of this policy. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So we're going to bring this back to the next meeting for our second reading.
We can work on one sit for a while so that we get feedback.
I know the other option was we were thinking of
Approving
approving it tonight, so that, because everything is a
Right.
quick turnaround, so, would we be open to, and we can revise after we do this,
Yeah.
but so that we can make this, official, so that we can have these, 2 students on,
Yes.
and for the 2-year term, can I ask for a motion to waive?
Motion to
the
waive the
sec-
second reading of policy 2245.
Second?
All in favor?
Motion to approve policy 2245.
Second?
All in favor? Okay, thank you. So, policy 2245, ex officio student member of the board has been approved. And we can still bring that back, at a later date when the policy committee meets, but thank you for that. Okay, next we have our first reading of policy 8111, reporting of hazards. The Board of Education.
Motion to waive the reading.
Second?
All in favor?
So this came from, this is not a required policy, it is a new policy. And it outlines the, how the school district and the employees and any, I think this applies to contractors as well?
Yes.
Anyone using the building, how they would report hazards and how we would deal with them.
Yes.
So it puts it in that process in place.
Yeah, this just came about, we, somewhere in the process, realized we didn't have this and thought it was important, even though it's not required, that we should know how to report hazards. And this will come back for a second reading on our next meeting, at our next meeting. And then we have the first reading of policy 5451, supervision of students. Principals or designees?
Motion to waive the reading.
Second.
All in favor?
This one's retiring, right?
No, we're not retiring.
No, we will retire one next time.
Oh, right.
That is encompassed in this one now. But we didn't bring that one up,
Yeah,
because we're not retiring it yet.
So this one just outlines the supervision of students.
Oh, no, sorry.
Wait, no.
This, we are not actually, sorry, this one we are not actually, we didn't make any changes, we're not revising it, and we're not retiring it. We just wanted to document that it was reviewed, because this was adopted in 1987, was revised in 2010. We were, full transparency, looking to see if we were going to retire it. That's where we were thinking to retire it. And then as we read it again, we realized this actually might be a policy we want to keep, but we wanted it documented tonight that we are reviewing it so that it doesn't look like as we were doing our policy upkeep, why did we randomly skip this one policy? Even though we're not making any changes to it, we wanted it to be on record that it was reviewed at this meeting in 2026.
So can we skip the second meeting?
I don't think we have to do anything. We're just making a note, it's going to be, that it was reviewed.
I think we should, I think we're only, we don't have to put that it was, we don't have to vote on the second time, no?
No, because it's not, we're not doing anything, we just want it documented and labeled that it was reviewed, so that it doesn't look like we skipped anything.
So as the board continues with its policy work, one thing the board may wish to consider, there are a number of policies by policy and by regulation that require an annual review, but the board may wish to continue to review policies in a similar manner to this, just to make sure that the policy book remains updated in a.
I think we have a
program.
policy about that, Mike, don't we? Literally.
Well,
double check.
There's a
And yes,
policy about
we
the
did.
policy.
Especially because I think some of these, like I said, the ones that haven't been looked at since 1987, they might have been looked at, but it was never documented, so when we see that, we're kind of like, how could nobody have looked at this? And it might have been happening, so we just want to record it that it was reviewed. So then we have a first reading of revision of policy 5550. The board recognizes its
Motion to
responsibility.
waive the reading of policy
Second.
5550.
All in favor?
So this is a complete rewrite based on NISBA recommendations. It is, I believe this is the one that's reviewed annually. on Infinite Campus by parents,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, and yes, it's one of those that they have to sign off for when they, before they can see their child's.
Student data, before they can
Yes.
see the student's data. So, but this is a complete revision, based on recommendations from, I think this, just correct me if I'm wrong, this is what NISBA recommended?
Yes.
As the new language?
Yes.
And we ran this by our legal team as well.
Yes. We can.
Okay. Motion to waive the second reading of policy 5550.
Second.
All in favor?
Motion to approve policy 5550.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, and then we have a first reading of revision of policy 5250, Student Activities Fund, and we're going to rename and renumber it to 5252, Student Activities Funds Management. The Board of Education shall have...
Motion to waive the reading.
Second?
All in favor? So this one, we changed some of the language at the beginning and rewrote it based on some updates. It's not a required policy. And we also just took out any wording that didn't pertain to the fact that it was like funds. So this is strictly about the role of the treasurer, appointing the treasurer, and then what happens to funds if a club or student group disbands, where that money will go to. So this just outlines that.
That's one we should allow to sit out there for a while to get feedback on.
Sure.
Just to get some student input.
Okay, and that ends our policy readings for tonight. And at this time, I am going to ask for a motion to return back to executive session.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor? The Hendrick Hudson School Board of Education will enter executive session to convene for the purpose of collective negotiations under the Taylor Law, medical, financial credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment or employment or promotion or demotion or discipline or suspension or removal of a particular person or corporation. May I ask for a motion to move to executive session?
Motion to move to exec.
Second.
All in favor?